this is Jocelyn Hilling. Thank you for watching this video. I decided to do a video more so about myself, my journey, and how I got here. I hope it provides valuable information for those that are seeking. So I've spent the last 17 years of my life in the mental health field, the helping professions. And I worked really hard to get my associate's degree, my bachelor's degree, and my master's degree. Learning anything and everything that had to do with the mind, our body, how we understand ourselves and the world around us. And I chose that field because I myself had so many stories placed on me. When I was 14, I made a promise to myself that I'd make a difference in this field, a field of suffering, because I felt like no one truly understood what I was experiencing. When you experience hurt, or trauma, or pain, we do a lot of things to try to escape it. And that does not mean we are broken. This includes making up stories and beliefs in our mind. And others make up stories and beliefs about us as well because they want to explain why we hurt so they can help. The truth is, I became successful. And I still felt like I was missing something. I did not know what. I worked so hard to develop a phenomenal business structure that made residual income, that helped people, so I could make my family proud, make myself proud. And the truth is, that didn't change anything. It just made me realize how empty I still was. And that's because I was living a life to please others, based on an external locus of control, hoping that someday I would achieve an accomplishment that would provide me with worth and value. Throughout my time at my practice, I accessed consciousness. It's a whole different energetic plane that you'll read about in my book. And when I accessed consciousness, I began to see the ego differently. It's fascinating. And that's when I started my theory. And I would only help those that were extremely motivated and discouraged and didn't find peace with others. And as they came into my practice, they would tell me their stories. And I would say, when do I get to know you? He said, I've just spent a half an hour telling you about me, Jocelyn. And I'd say, no. You've spent a half an hour telling me about your labels, your trauma, your mother, your stories. When do I get to find out about you? And at the end of our time, I would say, I have great news for you. And they'd say, what's that? I'd say, I'm not going to fix you. And a little bit of defensiveness would arise, and they would say, that's what I'm paying you for. I said, well, I don't fix things that are not broken. That I'll help you find you. As I was writing my theory on ego deconstruction, I began to deconstruct my own, a whole entire self that I had created based upon the stories and expectations of those around me, and the stories and expectations of myself. And then I had two intense spiritual awakenings. These awakenings looked very scary to the average eye. It looked like I was having a breakdown and I lost it. And part of me still heard truth. Truth is that little part inside of you that knows your heart, knows your passion, and is beyond the mind and beyond the body. It's the part of you that will connect your body and your mind. And our mind tends to be fed on logic and knowledge that you read about. And our mind is fed on a primal system of what I would call emotions and energy. And it is only our mind that labels our emotions, that hold us and bind us to our humanness. And when we access consciousness, we realize we have choice and we can create our realities. These awakenings were scary, and I had two choices. I could engage in the stories of my mind as a clinician, which obviously looked very scary. I could engage in the stories created by those around me, or I could listen to the voice inside of me that says, Jocelyn, go. You hear this clearly. You know truth. Nothing's wrong with you. This is just scary. And I felt like a comet hit my body and just took me to outer space. A space with nothing. A space that was very scary. And a space where I could access everything. And going from a completely logical world where I'm a public speaker and I stand on the stage educating about mental health to all of a sudden being an intuitive that reads energies blew my mind. And I'm like, is this even real? What is going on? And this also helped me develop my system and my theory to help others. And I feel with clarity that that had to happen in order for me to remember and see clearly what I went through to develop this theory. A lot of people don't have to experience what I did because it is a simple transfer of energy to get our mind and our body on the same vibrational plane. And when we do that and we open up communication to our mind and our body, we access what I would call our heart. And we start to unravel those layers of ego, brilliant ego that raised us, that protects us. And we begin to find our true passion. We begin to feel found and remembered. We begin to release shame, suffering, and guilt. And it is only through mastering the mind and honoring the body that you're able to see these things. I'm highly blessed to have had spiritual awakenings that took me from humanness to consciousness to enlightenment. And I feel even more blessed that I experience an internal state of heaven, what I call heaven, to be able to share this existence with others. Because we don't have to suffer. We don't have to hold on to our trauma and our shame and our stories. And we have that voice, that child inside of us that wants to be heard, wants to be found, and wants to be remembered. Feel free to check out more. I have a phenomenal team of what I would call consciousness consultants that are all trained in my theory, so they can coach you to get your mind and your body on the same plane, so you can access your heart and feel you, so you can experience loving you, unconditional love for you, and then have an amazing life outside of you. Heaven can be here. Heaven is here. And it's an internal state that exists in every single one of us. We just have to open our eyes to it and not feed our minds of the stories it wants to create to make sense out of things. Allow yourself the gift to teach your mind to work for you instead of against you, and hear your body clearly. This is Jocelyn Hilling. Feel free to check out more on my site and E5 Consulting, and feel free to download my ebook about my theory. I love you all and hope you have a phenomenal day.